Let's now turn to the so-called life table approach, which is a commonly used technique to assess survival and prognoses. Here's how it works. Let's say we conducted a study of a certain type of lymphoma. The study is conducted over a 5-year time period starting in 2010 and ending in 2015. In 2010, 100 patients joined the study. That's when they received treatment. Let's assume nobody is lost to follow-up. So people can only leave the study by dying. So of the 100 initial patients, only 55 are still alive in 2011, 36 in 2012, 25 in 2013, 18 in 2014, and 14 in 2015. In 2011, another 95 patients joined the study and received treatment. Of these patients, 52 are still alive in 2012, 34 in 2013, 24 in 2014, and 17 in 2015. In 2012, another 75 patients joined and received treatment, 41 of whom are still alive in 2013, 27 in 2014, and 19 in 2015. 2014 was the last year of recruitment. 99 patients joined and received treatment, 54 of whom were still alive in 2015 when the study ended. So you see, we have various durations of follow-up. Folks who joined in 2010 were followed up for a total of 5 years. Patients who joined in 2011 were followed up for 4 years. Patients from 2012 for 3 years. Patients from 2013 for 2 years. And patients from 2014 for only 1 year. So if we wanted to calculate the 5-year survival rate the way we learned previously, we could only do so for the 2010 cohort because everyone else had shorter follow-up, right? But let me tell you something. There is a way how we can use all the data presented here so that it's not lost and so that we can use it for the calculation of 5-year survival rates anyway. And the good news is you'll learn it in the next couple of minutes. If we wanted to assess survival in the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth years after the initiation of therapy, we'd have to rearrange the data slightly since year 1 for the cohort of 2010 is the year from 2010 to 2011. Year 1 for the cohort of 2011 is the year from 2011 to 2012, and so forth. So in order to compare the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth years of all of these cohorts, we have to move the data to the left. Now, the years are appropriately aligned so that we can perform the necessary calculations. Let's copy the numbers into a table real quick. So this is the year of treatment, or the year when they joined the study. This is the number of patients that joined in that year, and these are the numbers of patients alive at the end of each year follow-up. Now, in order to calculate the proportion of people who survived year 1, we need to know the number of people who survived until the end of year 1 in all cohorts divided by all study participants. That's 249 divided by 453 equals a P1 of 0.55, so 55% survived the first year. In order to know what proportion survived the second year, we need to know how many people survived until the end of year 2 and divide that by the number of people who were at risk of dying during that year. And that's everyone who went through that year, right? How many people are those? Pause the video and come back when you think you know the answer. Okay, so everyone in that column was still alive at the end of year 1, right? But the patients who joined the study in 2014, those down here, were only observed during their first year, right? So these folks could not become part of the numerator in year 2 because there was no year 2 for them. So we need to exclude them from the denominator. So the probability of surviving year 2 is 127, the survivors of year 2, divided by all people at risk in year 2, and that's everyone who was alive at the end of year 1 minus 54 people from the 2014 cohort. So 0.65 or 65%. Now, please pause the video and calculate the probabilities of surviving years 3, 4, and 5. That's P3, P4, and P5 yourself, and come back when you're done. Okay, so the probability of surviving year 3 is 68, all the people who were alive at the end of year 3, divided by 127 minus the 30 people who were not followed up in the third year. So 0.7 or 70% probability of surviving year 3. Year 4 is 34 divided by 68 minus the 19 for whom there was no year 4. So also 0.7 or 70%, and year 5 is 14 divided by 34 minus 17 equaling 0.8 or 80%. Let's put these probabilities into a table. So the probability of surviving year 1 was 0.55. The probability of surviving year 2 in patients who survived year 1 was 0.65. The probability of surviving year 3 in patients who survived year 2 was 0.7. The probability of surviving year 4 in those who survived year 3 was 0.7. And the probability of surviving year 5 in those who survived year 4 was 0.8. Now let's look at the data slightly differently. What's the probability of surviving to the end of each year for someone who joins the study? Let's start with year 1. What's the probability of surviving to the end of year 1 for someone who joins the study? Well, that's the same as surviving year 1, so 0.55. What's the probability of surviving till the end of year 2 for someone who joins the study? Well, that's the product of the probability of surviving year 1 and year 2. So 0.55 times 0.65, and that's 0.36. The probability of surviving to the end of year 3 is P1 times P2 times P3, or 0.25, and so forth. So the 5-year survival rate for someone who joined the study was 0.14, or 14%. Not so good, right? These data can also be presented in the form of a survival curve like this one, if you prefer looking at graphs instead of tables like me. So coming up, more cool stuff. So I hope you liked this video. Absolutely make sure to check out the course this video was taken from and to register for a free trial account which will give you access to selected chapters of the course. If you want to learn how MedMastery can help you become a great clinician, make sure to watch the About MedMastery video. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.